find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
What time is it? Let me check my watch. Oh, it's Bone-o'clock. In olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone. Bring anything bones. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones. Anything bones.
Hello and welcome to Anything Bones. I'm Sophie Schultz.
And I'm Katelyn Hart. And we're ready to talk about so many bones today.
It's a cavalcade of bones for the new year. It's 2022 and we're ready to
party.
Bone down hard. That's what this year's about. We're gonna bone down hard.
If you're drinking something, raise it, because everybody on the screen right now is raising their drink, because we've got two boys in the house with us. Two bone boys. Nick Kruger and Darrin Schultz.
Bone boys.
Bone boy. Bone boy here, reporting for bone duty.
These boys are part of the original skeleton crew and big supporters of the podcast and, you know, amazing comedians in their own right. Thank you for coming on to this monster 2-part New Year's Bone-anza?
Bone-anza? Is it?
It's an unofficial Bone-anza? I don't know. What do you want to call it?
This is an off-the-books Bone-anza.
Ooh, underground secret Bone-anza.
Ooh, if you turn the corner, open the door, there's a secret Bone-anza.
Yeah, you need a password to get in.
Yeah, and don't say bones. Everybody fucking says bones.
Hey, you listeners out there? Count it.
It's a Bone-anza.
It's Bone-anza, but just between us and you listening. No one else. Don't tell anyone else. Tell them about the podcast, but don't tell them that this one was a Bone-anza.
Yeah, no, it's just a bunch of stories, because we each have a story to tell.
Yeah, we're gonna go every other skipping down the bone-covered lane. But before we get into all of this, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of the people who participated in our Christmas Bone Miss holiday greetings. And actually, we ended up having a latecomer, John Miller Giltner, who sent in a message, which unfortunately did not make the show last week, but I wanted its airing here on the show this week, especially, you know, with our Bone Boys here. You know, this is family we're talking about. Y'all have known John, you've known them for years.
Yeah, me and Nick plus John is the Love Bandits.
Yeah, a comedy group that's had how many shows?
Just the one. On your birthday.
On my
Sophie's birthday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Alright, so let's hear this last Bone Miss greeting because it deserves to be aired.
Hey Katelyn, Sophie asked me to do a little voice recording for you for the Anything Bones podcast of all the people I've killed. I guess because I've just been on the podcast or whatever. 1 second, sorry. I'm home for Christmas. I'm in my parents' house right now. Anyway, so Sophie asked me to go over all the people I've killed, and I'm happy to do so for you. First person I've killed, David Tittle. I tittled his winks, if you will. I stabbed him in the fucking throat. It was a brutal one, and not my finest work, I'm going to be honest. Let's see, who else have I killed? 1 second, Mom, thank you, sorry. David Donkey Kong. He had the last name Donkey Kong, and I killed him because I didn't like the cut of his jib, if you know what I mean. That's a sailing term. I actually don't fully know what it means. I've never sailed, but I've killed them before, and I just I guess I used it to justify it. I'm not super proud of it. Anyway, no, Mom, 1 second. I said 1 second. Yeah, I'm pretty, that's not all the people I've killed, but that's the people I think I can think of right now. But Kayla, I want to say I love the podcast. I'm a big fan. Sophie, I'm a big fan of. Jasky. Thomas Jasky. enema. Death instantly. He was getting, and I just don't want to go into it. Anyway, I killed David Jaskey too. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and, keep it good. See you later, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Wow.
Thank you, John, for that message.
John Miller, creakiest boards in the business.
To our legal team, our dads, that is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And to the family of Mr. Donkey Kong, I'm sorry.
We're eternally sorry for your jib and how it was cut down in the prime of life.
Sorry for your loss. R.I.P. Yeah, those Boneless messages were really wonderful. That was a surprise to me. Thank you so much. I shed a little tear as I was listening on the drive home from Christmas.
As you were white-knuckling it down the snowy highway.
Yeah, that's the way I was doing it. It was a comfort to me. Yeah, should we get into it?
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Let's do this thing.
I'm Darrin. Hi.
Also, I'm Nick. I think we were announced, but it was quiet, I think. And
I think we were announced as the boys.
I did say your names.
Yeah.
You did say it.
100%.
And this, I remember hearing names, but this voice, hello, this voice is Nick. Hi, friends.
And
Darrin doesn't want to talk, apparently.
I already said I was Darrin.
Now he's done. Now he's done announcing
Now I'm
himself.
done. Leave me to my monster and vodka.
you are disgusting.
Oh.
Can I just say, at least it's not milk and vodka?
Hey, yo.
Bing bong. It's time to start out this unofficial, under the table, behind locked doors, secret New Year's bonanza. Off with a fun tale of journey, adventure, virgins, and bones.
Sign me up.
I love all those things.
Before we get into it...
How much do you love virgins, Darrin?
A virgin daiquiri, a virgin airline, great things.
Okay. All right.
So, my first source was Atlas Obscura, of course.
Obviously.
1, 2, 3 articles from Wikipedia, 1 from Huffington Post, and 1 from liturgicalartsjournal.com, and 1 from Britannica.com. Alright, so in my reasoning behind choosing this topic is when I think of my boys, I wanted to find something that interested both of you. And the intersection of your interests are varied, but 2 things came to mind, and that is boats and Germany.
Okay.
German boats.
I'd say Nick leans more Germany, I lean more boats.
Exactly.
I would tend to agree.
Although Nick love a boat.
I love a boat. On one of my episodes, I talked about a lot of boats.
You did. You talked about a lot of boats, and we're going to revisit the topic of boats later.
Heck yeah.
But this topic is meant to encompass those interests. And when I started looking, I was looking into Germany, and gosh, does Germany have a lot of skeletons and bones. Ooh. If you were looking for the catacomb saints that we talked about with Sam, a lot of them are in Germany, hanging out, covered in jewels. And it was all my restraint in the world not to choose one of those. But we're going to actually be talking about Saint Ursula and her fabulous troupe of virgin besties.
Those poor, unfortunate souls.
So sad.
Ah!
Katelyn liked that one.
I know it's Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
So Saint Ursula, not the sea witch.
Is she purple?
Is she purple? And how purple is she if she is?
I've only seen one portrait of her and she didn't look very purple, but we weren't there.
It's like magenta?
I mean, this was the 300s, so I think that there is a disease if you eat too much silver that you turn blue. I think there's another one if you have another, deficiency or excess in a vitamin where you do turn purple. But no historical record indicates she was purple.
Okay.
Sorry, and what do you have to eat too much of to get octopus legs?
Squid.
Squeed. You wouldn't think. You wouldn't think so.
So, Saint Ursula at this time, was a Roman British princess who lived her life in the 300s. So, we're going way back. And she, at the behest of her father, set out on a pilgrimage across Europe with 1,100 virgins.
Future Sophie here. Every time that I say 1,100, know that it is 11,000. That is 11,000.
Oh.
Reportedly on one boat.
Why?
For religious reasons. It was a religious pilgrimage. She was also going to meet her new husband. And so she and 1,100 virgins.
I mean...
What is this, Comic-Con? Got him!
Oh, I was gonna say, this is, I think, the Gilligan's Island sequel.
Honestly, kind of more in the Tempest realm of things, because the legend next says that a giant storm blew their ship in one day to Rome. So
3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
There was a flotilla of virgins who set sail from Britain one day.
They met a pope and a couple of deacons, and they said, we'll come along anyway.
The professor, Marianne, the rest.
Of the virgins.
Of the virgins. Of the 1,100 virgins.
They did go to Rome, and they did actually end up meeting the Pope at the time and a couple of other religious officials who decided to go with them on a kind of pan-European religious pilgrimage.
Pan-European, pansexual.
Personal pan-pilgrimage.
Personal pan-pilgrimage.
So, I'm confused. Are
Yes.
these virgins there, by choice, or are they, forced to be there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to
What's the
know
vibe?
how they got the virgins. What was the gathering process? Hey, everybody, if you're a virgin, meet in the quad at 2 p.m.
If you're not, stay outside the fucking gate.
Stay outside, sluts.
Oh yeah, there's a value judgment in this fucking poster that she's putting around the towns.
Virgins wanted, no sluts need apply. I'm talking to you, Jennifer. But I do not know what the vibe really was. We'll talk about whether or not we think that there were actually that amount of virgins a little bit later. But the vibe that I kept reading was that they were her entourage. These were her buddies or friends or interns, attendants. I don't know. They went with her. Maybe
Groupies?
Groupies?
It's like the pre-Jonas Brothers purity ring, but for the 300s. And you're only pure if you have a posse of at least 400 virgins.
Gosh.
Can I ask one more question about the virgins?
There's
God, you love these fucking virgins.
I'm sorry, did you say the specific gender of the virgins, or is it just any and all are welcome?
I actually did not find anywhere that said that all of these people were women. So I think I assumed that they were all women, but I think it just said virgins. So perhaps virgins of any, one would like to think virgins of any gender, but probably women, historically speaking.
Probably women, or maybe a bunch of nerds too.
All virgins welcome.
We've already dunked on the fucking nerds. That's our demographic, you idiots.
I'm sorry.
I'm probably the only one here who went to Comic-Con as a virgin, so take that as you will.
I've never been, so I'm cool.
Yeah, you and Nick are fucking cool. I'm so sorry about this, you guys, but...
What?
Oh, are the virgins okay, Sophie?
Oh my god,
Oh,
there
no.
was a storm?
Oh no!
It's not the storm. So they did run into the Huns at one point.
Shit.
Oh no, those guys hate virgins.
Not the
I would love to say that there was a tumultuous battle between the virgins and the Huns where the virgins fought very bravely.
Maybe, did they only pillage that day, maybe? Maybe it was just a pillage day.
I mean, we would love to think that they were feeling lazy and it was just a pillage day where maybe 1 or 2 villages went down, but I'm telling you, 1,100 virgins lost their heads that day.
Oh.
What the
Oh
fuck?
my god.
And they shot Ursula with an arrow.
No!
Is the Pope okay?
Right before she got married? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is the Pope okay?
Here's the thing about the Pope. There's a lot of debate about which Pope it was, and the Pope that is, like,
In the legend?
is, like, not a real Pope. It was, like, a different Pope at the time, if you, like, go look at the historical record. So I'm not sure if the Pope was really there. I think that is a fun, spicy detail added over time.
Wait, no, so what you're telling me is that, Rome, they're like, people are hanging out, someone's like, hey, 1,000 virgins just, like, pulled up, and they're asking for the Pope, and this one Italian guy's like, oh, hey, it's me.
I think they just went on tour with, like, the Times Square Spider-Man of popes.
Oh, it's me, Il Papa, $5 for Il Picture.
Pope, please, will you bless me?
Yeah, sure, let's bless you in the galley here, just you and me.
Rose.
Mamma mia.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
not too much.
yo.
I mean, look. Oh wait, are we saying that the fake Pope that joined the Virgin Cruise wasn't a horny bastard?
I mean, I think you're probably right.
If he joined the Virgin Cruise, he probably died too, Nick.
He didn't know that was going to happen.
He was.
I'm just saying, don't shit on him. He might have died brutally.
I'm sorry for all of the people who died like 2,000 years ago. Man, that must have sucked. But
Thoughts and prayers.
thoughts and prayers. But I'm just saying, this horny fake Pope, he got what was coming to him.
Be that as it may, fast forward to 1155, and they find a mass grave in Cologne. And near this is a church that is built on a Roman cemetery. So we have a mass grave, a Roman cemetery, and a church built on top of the Roman cemetery.
That's the triad of scary.
Yeah. You're asking for a haunting at that point. And they kind of assumed this church was like, hey, I think these are Ursula and her 1,100 virgins.
And look at this weird, like, shoddy Pope hat that we found.
It looks handmade by a pervert.
It just has Pope written on it.
If you look at the seams here, this is clearly the work of a pervert.
So, luckily, this is terrible stitching. Luckily, the church was already dedicated to Saint Ursula. How lucky is that?
Oh my god.
Wow.
And so they were like, crap, we have all of these martyr bones that are super important because, of course, they died on a religious pilgrimage. Or 1,101 of them did, and one of them died being a horny idiot. And so they needed to find a place to house these extremely holy bones. And I'm actually going to use Nick's knowledge of German to pronounce the name of this room where they kept the bones.
Okay.
It is called
The Golden Kammer.
the what?
The Golden Kammer.
Which means golden chamber.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
reading this, and to me that looks like Goldeen, the Pokemon.
Well, I don't make the German. I just asked Nick to pronounce it. So in this golden chamber, it's basically a massive reliquary, which is something that houses the bones of saints. And it's filled with a bunch of, ceramic busts with skulls inside of them of the various martyrs. And the walls are absolutely covered in bones. There are bones in, all sorts of shapes. Some are covered in gold and silver. And they actually have the bones on the walls spelling out the phrase, "Holy Ursula, pray for us." So I'm going to go ahead and send you guys a picture of that.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
So that's kind of a long view of it.
Oh my god. That's a wall of bone. That is so crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I'm sending you some more detailed pictures as well.
Oh, it's all stuff spilled in bone.
Yeah, and then this picture of this terrifying bone-guarding cherub.
No!
Yes. Oh, I love him. Oh, his face says it all. He's thinking, oh, the other cherubs got to be little fountain pissers or on the outside of Notre Dame, and I gotta be the bone guard.
I mean, every cherub is important, and this cherub is guarding possibly 1,100 virgins.
Wow.
It's a lot of virgin bones.
So, this is their bones, most likely, or this was there already? No. What's going on?
These are the bones that they found in the mass grave that they assume to be the 11,000 virgin.
Find the pervy pope bone.
Well,
where is it?
As you can kind of see in the cherub picture, actually, I chose it not just because the cherub is creepy as hell, but because, as you can see kind of in the back of it, the bones are used in these like almost spider web and zigzaggy type patterns that are like, you know, for bone perverts like us, really beautiful, like craftsmanship. Like you can see what looks like maybe parts of skull are like used as kind of flat parts.
Yeah, like a heart made of skull chips.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I want for Valentine's Day. But it's never gonna happen.
Not unless I kill a dog.
I mean, what? Whoa!
Whoa! I mean, yeah. Yeah, Kayla, you can kill a dog.
I won't. I was kidding.
Shocking.
What? Not unless I kill a dog. Famous for their massive amounts of skull chips, dogs.
I
mean, geez, Caitlin, you could go to Michael's and get dog skull chips prepackaged.
No, I think that's better. You're right. I was being overly dramatic.
No.
Can I jump on a quick tangent about dog skulls?
Okay.
You have 5 seconds.
You know the movie Beethoven with the St. Bernard that causes trouble?
Yeah.
The plot of the first Beethoven movie is that these bad guys were kidnapping dogs to practice shooting hollow point bullets into their heads to prove to a weapons manufacturer how effective they were. This is the plot of a children's movie.
Jesus.
That's fucked.
Nick saw it too. Nick didn't see it. He went to bed, but I saw it.
I went to bed, but Kayla, you could talk to these weapons people about your bone skulls.
No, I changed my mind.
Sophie, the best. I don't know if you should maybe cut this whole part.
Okay.
Crazy.
Tell me more about this bone wall, Sophie.
So, as y'all have already kind of begun to suspect, how do we know?
They weren't virgins.
How dare you? First of all, well, how do we know that these are the bones of 1,100 virgins? And why 1,100 virgins? Why 1,100? That seems like so many, right?
Yeah, I've wondered that the whole time.
So the original legend said that there were only probably 11 virgins that came to hang out. But because they were martyrs, this kind of part was amended with like a little M next to them. So it was like 11 virgins M, like which meant to say 11 virgins martyr. But in Latin numerals, M is 1,000. So, like, some monk was like, oh my god, 1,100 virgins.
It's a good thing we didn't find that now where they'd think it was 11 million.
Yeah, seriously. Another explanation is that she was possibly traveling with just one virgin named Undecilimenia.
Or 1M for short.
Undecilimilla.
Undecilimenia.
Which can be read as 1,100.
Un is 1, decimilia
Is, yeah.
It's like 10,000.
Yeah.
So 1 in 10,000.
It's almost like they knew, hey, if we like make this a little obscure, people are going to think this is a way crazier voyage, and we were like, oh, so friggin' holy. Oh, we gathered up 1,100 virgins for Jesus. He's going to be so proud of me.
It's just one virgin named Una Decimilia.
Here's the thing. We're gonna get a fake pope, and he's pervy as hell, and we're gonna get a friend who changed their name for this voyage to 1100, and she's a virgin, and then we're gonna fool everybody. It's gonna be the holiest prank in history.
I'm trying to figure out whose bones those are on the walls, though, because that is not 11 people's bones, for sure.
I like that Katelyn is just like, bitch, hurry through the misunderstanding. Whose bones are those?
There's at least 12 people's bones here.
Well, I did just want to ask, like, one article that I read was like, ha ha ha, like you could fit 1,100 people on one boat. And I was like, but like built in the 300s. And so I went back to look at some of the biggest boats of antiquity. And there is a boat called Caligula's Giant Ship. And I just wanted to tell you that exists.
I can't imagine a virgin ever set foot on that one.
No, that was a party boat. And it had baths. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
But I did want to, for scale, if we were to think about a ship that could house 1,100 virgins, the biggest cruise ship is called the Symphony of the Seas, and it's a Royal Caribbean ship. And at its maximum capacity, it can hold 6,680 people.
Virgins.
Virgins, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how Royal Caribbean is, like, really into virgins.
Is there a virgin cruise line? Anyway, so for scale of ship, if you think about the biggest cruise ship you've ever seen, that's still not big enough. So think about that.
Oh yeah, it'd have to be a flotilla of. I mean, yeah, they weren't building big ships to go. We're going from London to Rome and then to parts unknown.
Wait, hold on.
That could hold 1,100 people.
1,100 virgins, but then the Caribbean ship could fit 6,000 people?
No, 11,000. Jesus Christ. 11,000. Every time it's 11,000. 11,000.
Oh, this whole time it's 11,000 virgins.
This whole time.
It's 11,000.
That's a whole nother zero.
Yeah. 11,000. 11,000 virgins. It's 11,000 virgins, and it's so many virgins. Think about that.
Shout out to future Sophie.
Shout out to future me. Every time I say, you know what, whatever.
Also, yes, there is a virgin cruise line. It's called Disney Cruise Line. Got him!
Is somebody keeping track of the Gothams?
I think he got him twice. Count it.
So, this story is probably a legend that predates Saint Ursula and had just been fit to, like, her origin story. This, legend of, like, a lady and her posse of virgins going on a pilgrimage and then getting fucking slaughtered. So whose bones are these? Katelyn's dying to know. Well, we think a lot of them just come from the Roman cemetery that the church was built near. Because when the bones are tested, they are from men, women, children, and dogs and other animals. A surgeon actually got in trouble because he was examining one of the skull reliquaries and was like, yeah, that's a mastiff's skull, not a human skull. So it's most likely that these bones were all just obtained from the local cemetery, and the mass grave is something else. But they, as the Catholic churches want to do when they find a fuck ton of bones, they love to make them into holy objects and decorate with them. And I actually appreciate that.
It's that good memento mori shit, like making you think
Hell
about
yeah.
death and all of that.
That's the kind of stuff you only see in Europe, I feel like. Or mostly in Europe, where there's just so many graveyards that are so old that no one cares. If you just want to make a big holy relic out of all those bodies, like, yeah, go for it. We don't know how they got here anymore.
Get crafty. There's a lot of bored monks and a lot of bones.
Are people still
Maybe if
making these, though? Like, I feel like this is a thing of the past. Like,
I think if you were to try this now, you would come under a lot of opposition.
We'll see what happens in America in like 300 years when they have a bit more history behind us. Like, when people start digging up cemeteries and just being like, oh, yeah, let's make a McDonald's out of bones.
Ooh, a Civil War McDonald's bone.
Well, we're not going to see that. We're going to be those bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Katelyn, there you go. There's dog skull chips in there too, so...
Exactly.
I didn't do it!
So to just round out the last of my story with a very random fun fact about this story. So when historic villain Christopher Columbus was going around the Eastern Caribbean in 1493, he ended up finding, quote unquote, a bunch of islands. And you know what he named them?
Virgin Islands.
Yes, sir.
Nailed it.
After these 11,000 virgins.
What?
Yes!
I had never thought about it.
That's wild.
Right?
Some
And-
say you can still find a horny pope on the Virgin Islands.
Running
To this day.
around.
And if he's not on the islands, he's going between them under the sea.
And that pope's name is, what's his name?
Sebastian?
No, I was going to say, what's the virgin billionaire's name?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. I want to say Bryan Cranston.
For
And
Breaking Bad.
And that billionaire's name was Bryan Cranston.
Is there a virgin? Wait, what?
The Virgin Airlines.
The brand Virgin Airlines and Mobile, Richard Branson.
I thought
And that
you were
billionaire's-
trying to tell me that man was notoriously a virgin, and I did not know that.
No, I think he's a horny pope of a man, Richard
He
Branson.
really is.
Yeah, you're either a horny pope or a virgin these days.
Oh, nailed it. Nailed the joke so hard. Oh, yeah.
And that's my story.
Good
Wow.
story.
That was
Good.
amazing.
Thank you,
Virgins.
Sophie, and thank you to the 11 to 11,000 virgins.
Yeah, I got it.
1 to 11,000.
1 to 11,000.
Excuse me.
I mean, honestly, like, he was like, 1,100 was a lot more believable
Yeah,
than
it was.
11,000.
No, it's
So
11.
so-
It is 100% 11,000 virgins. It is 11,000 virgins. I will put this at the beginning of the story. But back to this moment. That's just a wild amount of people to conceptualize, like, on one, like, trip together.
Like, was there even 11,000 people in London at that time?
Oh yeah, London's huge.
I mean, but she didn't
300?
she wasn't directly from London. She was from Brittany generally.
Hmm.
Like, this is the 300s. Not really England as we think of it today, but she ended up in, she and her bones possibly ended up in Germany.
All right.
That's awesome.
Oh, just quickly, here's demographia.com says around the year 200, there was between 45 and 50,000 people in London.
Yeah, London big.
London always been big.
So that's like
It's like 1/5 of the population of
1/5
virgins.
of the populations of London. That's a lot of virgins in London.
All right, everybody got to pony up a virgin for Ursula. She's going on a sea journey and she doesn't want to go alone. That's
We'll
what I
take,
think
like-
happened. Someone was like, I'm going on a sea journey. Do you want to come with me? Yeah, I'll come with you. But I'm going to ask, Katelyn, do you want to go on a sea journey?
Okay.
Is there anyone else you want to bring?
No. I mean, yes, my 1,000 cousins, they're all virgins.
Yeah, bring them.
Oh.
Something that happened to, I believe, this group of people plus some of our other friends back in like 2019 was we all started getting texts from a birthright organization asking us if we wanted to go on birthright, and so many of us, me specifically and others, Nick and Sophie excluded, had to be like, I'm not Jewish. I can't go on this. Which is, I feel like, reminds me of this. Like, just ask anyone. It's like, oh, just say you're a virgin and you can go. It's fine.
But not Jennifer. Everyone knows
Not
she's
Jennifer.
a slut.
Okay, did Jennifer make it on the boat? I swear to God.
She made it on the boat and I didn't? Like,
Jennifer's on the dock waving, going, bye, bitches! We got a slut overboard. Well, I think you and me and Katelyn and Darrin and Nick and 11,000 virgins are gonna go listen to an ad.
Okay, bye. How many of us were listening to that ad?
Well, the listener was there too.
Oh, that's who the you was.
I was very confused. I was losing count.
Hey there, fellow true crime aficionados. We're the hosts of Bad Axe Podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Aaron.
Join us every Thursday for twisted true crime tales, bad deeds, and the supernatural. We've covered family annihilators, cold-blooded baby daddies, cannibals, and even people who blame zombies, ghosts, and voodoo for their bad acts.
Bad Axe.
If you like fresh stories and new perspectives on crime, Bad Axe will be your new jam. Stay safe out there, you big baddies, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're back. Welcome back to Everything Bones. Anything Bones. Cut that out.
Oh, Darrin, you're doing so good.
And we're back. Welcome to Anything Bones.
I'm your co-host, Nikki Kruger, here with the Bone Master General, Darrin Schultz.
That's right. It's our show now. I'm going to mute Sophie and Katelyn.
You can't!
Hostile takeover, Bone-anza.
So, I have a topic, but it's a bit more of a competition, and I'm going to remain relatively impartial for the competition part because I put a lot of effort into getting a lot of faff, a lot of unnecessary stuff out of the way. So I'll go through a little bit of that. But what we're going to be doing today is deciding which United States state has the best state fossil.
Hell yeah! I love this.
You will hear what every state's fossil is. I will go through every single one.
I fucking hope so.
Because there are more than 50.
Oh, wow. What?
That's impossible.
It's actually, there's not, but here's what we'll say. So we're going to have a bracket system. We're going to go through all that. But before we get into, like, the fossils that are based on bones, bone fossils, because that's really what we care about, right? Is bony fossils.
Yes.
Please.
None of these soft, flaccid fossils.
Exactly. Which is why I'm going to go through the no entries and the disqualifieds and the honorable mentions.
I love this.
Really quick. I just, like, out the gate, state that you think's going to win. I'm going to say...
Do you want to wait until you know which states are playing before
Montana.
You make this? Okay.
I want to wait to see who's playing.
Sophie wants to wait and see who's in. Caitlin, do you have any early guesses of who's going to win?
I'm going to go for East Coast, maybe West Virginia.
That is I'll just say right now, Caitlin, that's a really good option you've picked.
I mean, it's too bad because Montana's going to win.
I'm throwing, Alaska.
That's also a good choice. Nick, you said Montana?
Montana's going to win so hard. You guys picked the stupidest states for fossils.
Well, good for you is you all picked states that are in the actual running. So good job so far.
Awesome. Hell yeah, eat my femur, Nicholas.
Yeah, because Montana's going to win and you all are going to lose. Frickin' Alaska? West Virginia? Stupid.
Okay, so here are the states with no entry. We have
I'm
Hawaii.
Not competitive.
We have Hawaii. We have Indiana, which considered a crinoid in 2015. A crinoid is a cousin of a sea star, or is a basket star. It's a big feathery underwater thing.
Bullshit animal.
Iowa also considered the crinoid. That was proposed in 2015. New Hampshire considered the American mastodon in 2015. And Rhode Island. So those are ones without an official state fossil. They are not even up for consideration.
Just really quick, Iowa chose a sea star.
They proposed a sea star.
A landlocked. Okay, that's fine. We're good. Keep going.
They're fossils, Nick. They can have fossils that are from the ocean.
Yeah, Nick. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the Earth was underwater at some point.
It moved too.
Iowa is corn and no sea star, thank you.
Okay, so here's ones I have disqualified from entry into the competition. Arizona, petrified wood.
No.
I've seen the petrified wood in Arizona. It's pretty cool. Not a bone.
That's not a bone. That's wood.
Mm-hmm. Connecticut and Massachusetts, dinosaur tracks.
Cool, but not a bone.
Cool, but not a bone. A ghost of a bone.
That's
Bone.
my memoir title.
Ghost of a Bone.
Yes.
Florida, a sort of precursor to coral.
Okay.
I mean-
Yes?
You could have gone more boring. This is, again, Montana. It's in it. It's all in.
We'll get to Montana. Louisiana, petrified palm wood.
Sure.
Maine, Pertica plante, which is a pre-plant plant.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's like a plant, but before we really had plants. That's how old that fossil is.
Shit. That's like almost hard to conceive of.
Missouri, a sea lily, which is another crinoid.
More like cry me a rivernoid.
And Katelyn, I have really bad news, but Oregon is the dawn redwood.
Fuck!
So
Bullshit. Yeah.
disqualified,
All right.
disqualified. And here are the honorable mentions. These are states that picked something akin to an animal with bones, but didn't quite go all the way. So Delaware has like an ancient squid.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Georgia, Shark teeth.
Ooh.
Close. Maryland, an Ecphora gardnerae, or a very old shell, or a mollusk of some sort.
Delicious.
Okay.
North Carolina, a megalodon tooth. Just one tooth of a megalodon.
I'm sorry, what's a megalodon again?
Giant shark.
Oh, that's tight. Like Sharknado?
It's pretty good.
No, like the movie The Meg.
Like Jaws?
Bigger.
Okay.
Think bigger.
Think like a killer whale or bigger.
Bigger.
Illinois, and this is something that I would recommend maybe you even do a whole episode on, the Tully monster.
The what now?
It's I don't even really want to describe it. If you feel like it, Google Tully monster right now and just see what this thing looks like, because it doesn't look real.
This is from Iowa, you said?
Illinois. They have a whole exhibit
Whoa.
dedicated to these things in the Field Museum in Chicago.
Yeah.
Look at that silly little terrifying thing.
Yeah.
And you want to
Alright.
guess about how big that thing is?
Big of us 1,100,000 Persians.
It's like a few inches long.
Aw. Cute.
Oh.
I was about to be
Yeah.
so scared of it if it was huge.
Right? It looks terrifying, but it's very small.
It looks like a submarine mixed with like a tiny dinosaur.
That's a really good description.
Oh my god.
So I love the Tully monster, but not a big bony creature. New York, a sea scorpion, which is another sort of arthropodic sea bug thing.
Sounds
North
metal.
Dakota chose a worm in petrified wood, so very close to disqualification, but they did choose an animal fossil, but it's in
Stupidest
petrified
thing
wood.
I've ever heard.
Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, the trilobite.
They all get the trilobite?
They all get the trilobite.
Okay.
It's the Oprah of trilobites.
Tennessee picked a bivalve, which is another mollusky thing, and Virginia picked a classic scallop.
Oh,
That really is delicious, though.
they were all so close to greatness, and they failed, one and all.
Cowards.
All right, now I have some notes for the states that are in the official running. There's some mammoth overlap.
That's a lot of overlap.
Alaska and Vermont both chose the woolly mammoth.
Okay.
Washington and South Carolina chose the Columbian mammoth. And Nebraska got greedy and chose 3 species of mammoth: the woolly mammoth, the Columbian mammoth, and the imperial mammoth.
How is that fair?
It's not.
That's not
but-
cool.
Now, this is where I'm actually going to ask for a little bit of input. So there are a few states that both have the same fossil, and I'm curious to see what you guys think, if we should just eliminate one right off or leave them in.
Are any of them the hotly contested states, i.e. ones we're rooting for?
Well, Montana chose... Yes, Montana has an overlap with New Jersey. That is the duck-billed dinosaur.
Well, New Jersey could die in the cold, cold East Coast shitty ground.
Ouch. Alabama and Mississippi both chose the basilosaur. Basilosaur.
That was my nickname
Gesundheit.
in high school, yeah.
Basilosaur US, it's a whale, and I'll talk more about that. But Mississippi also chose another whale fossil, so it has a backup. So I might keep those in. Kansas has an official flying fossil and a marine fossil, so they have which is a pteranodon and a tylosaurus. And Vermont has a terrestrial and marine fossil, which is the woolly mammoth, and
Wolf.
Vermont's marine fossil is the beluga whale.
Aww!
Hey! We know him.
I know that guy.
Hey.
And my last note is that the District of Columbia has an entry in this competition, despite not being a state. But, and this is my favorite thing so far, I think, their entry is the Capitalsaurus, which translates to state dinosaur.
Wow.
So while they are not a state, they do have the state dinosaur.
Wow. Do you think that's funny to them, or do you think it stings?
Well, here's a bit more information about the Capitalsaurus. Their only example of it is a part of a single vertebra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Experts are not sure it should count as its own thing. It's on the list of informally named dinosaurs.
Wait, so they only have part of a vertebrae?
It's a political appointee. It's a
political appointee. They found a part of a vertebra. They said, "Oh, this is the Capitalsaurus. It's the state dinosaur."
Mm-hmm. By Jove, we've done it.
We found it by Washington, D.C. It must be its own thing. And other people are like, it's probably just this other species of dinosaur. And they're like, it's its own thing.
Let us have our dinosaur, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Washington, D.C. should just be eliminated altogether.
Okay. Do I hear anyone second this?
Yeah, get rid of them, and let's just combine the doubles into one. I think we're here for the fossils, right?
All right, Capitalsaurus has been removed from the bracket. And do I hear any strong feelings about removing New Jersey over Montana?
Yes,
that's Nick.
You do.
Of course, Nick wants
but everything else.
Yeah.
But everything else, just combine.
I feel bad though. Everybody ships on New Jersey. Why do we have to do it too?
Yeah,
because we're cool.
What if we did remove Montana?
If you remove Montana, I'm leaving this podcast, and you never get to hear what cool story I have later.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Fine.
I will take
I'm
Nick's
throwing
advice
down the gauntlet,
and I'm going to combine New Jersey
But make sure
and
my baby Alaska
Montana.
is still in.
Alaska is still in. Nebraska, I have only entered with one entry. It just says mammoths.
Ugh, Nebraska, you greedy fuck.
So now New Jersey and Montana are one entry, and do we want to remove any of the other doubles?
I'm fine with removing Nebraska because they got greedy and they should have known better.
Yeah.
Nebraska's off the list.
Sorry, Nebraska, but if you want all the fossils,
fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have chosen more fossils.
All right, that leaves us with 23 entries. So we're going to get through this pretty quick. I've got some fun facts about some of the entries, but mostly about the ones you either haven't heard of or that I just think are interesting. So I'm going to start this tournament and I'm going to screen share so that you can see how it's going.
Defense.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. It's a tournament of champions, a tournament of fossils. The older the better, the cooler the better. Who will win tonight?
So up first, we have the South Dakota Triceratops versus the South Carolina Columbian Mammoth.
Aw, shit. A legendary matchup.
Oh, this is one of those first round battles that's just like, oh man, either of these could go all the way.
Yes, one of these could go all the way. And there's some seeds in here too, which means ones that got popped up a little bit ahead because of how brackets work. If you want to open that document I sent out now too, you can see all of the entries minus the ones we already eliminated, or including the ones we already eliminated. Some pictures of what these fossils look like.
Holy shit. You know, I think the Triceratops is underappreciated for being, like, such a fucking gnarly-ass, like, dinosaur. Like, I know it was kind of... They fought each other, right? Like, with heads, and they bashed them?
Yeah, they're like... They would, from what I understand, make big shields around their young. Like, they'd sort of stand in a circle, protect them from predators.
It's got to be Triceratops for this guy right here.
Yeah, and the Columbian Mammoth is also Washington's fossil, so they are on this list again.
Well, then I think let's move Triceratops forward.
Triceratops, moving ahead.
What do you think, Katoon? Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that's
it's 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3,
Yeah.
Triceratops wins it.
All right. Oh, so this is a tough one now. We have the Washington Columbian Mammoth versus the Nevada Ichthyosaur, which, if you scroll down, has maybe my favorite picture in this whole lineup. It looks like if a goldfish was a dinosaur.
I was going to say fat swordfish.
Fat swordfish with a big eye.
It is kind of cute, is the thing.
That's a cute, derpy little thing.
Yeah. Darren, am I going to be able to keep this link for our listeners, like, to put it in our show notes?
Yeah,
you think?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. This is also just the Wikipedia table of American state fossils, so you can just find that, and all these pictures are there.
This is awesome, Darren. All right.
So how we feeling? Columbian Mammoth representing the great state of Washington that we all live in? Or the Nevada Ichthyosaur, a cool big goldfish dinosaur.
It's so fat and cute.
Yeah, I gotta go for the ichthyosaur.
Are we gonna bump out our home state, though?
I mean, yeah, because it's an ichthyosaur and it looks like a little derpy. It's just sort of looking like
Well, and also none of us are.
Is that a little?
Can
fish?
I just point out, none of us are actually from Washington, so
Yes, but
This
that's
is
where
true.
we live.
I know.
This is true. I think ichthyosaur has it. It sounds like everyone wants it. All right, we're on to the New Jersey/Montana duck-billed dinosaur versus the Vermont woolly mammoth. And remember, Vermont is in here twice. Vermont has the beluga whale and the woolly mammoth.
This is so hard for me, you guys. God, how am I going to figure out which way to vote? Jeez. Oh, wait. A duck-billed dinosaur is like an ancient duck, and it quacks louder than you could think.
If you've seen Land Before Time, Ducky is a duck-billed dinosaur.
That's fucking right. Ducky was a duck-billed
Let me look
dinosaur.
at this woolly mammoth, though.
I mean, it's pretty cool, but I've seen a woolly mammoth, like, not in person, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have you?
I'm fine with keeping Nick in the game.
If you've seen a woolly mammoth in person, you have to tell us.
Yeah.
There'll be more on that later, too.
Yes, we have many mammoth opportunities. Move the duckbill forward.
The duckbill moves forward. All right, now we have the Vermont beluga whale versus the New Mexico... It's Celophysis.
Wow, that is a mouthful.
The Celophysis it's like a little raptor. This is one of the very oldest dinosaurs, worth noting.
It's very cute, and it has a long tail.
And the beluga whale is still alive.
That's such a, like, okay, I really, really love this tiny raptor, but, like, argument for the blue whale, like, to think about the fact that the beluga whale, like, was a fossil and is still alive now, like a concurrent species, that's pretty metal. Like,
if you look in your chart, it'll also tell you what era these fossils are from, and the beluga whale is from the Ice Age, like the most recent one. So it's not as old. It's like a very, very old fossil versus a pretty new fossil.
I don't know. It's hard for me to pick because I love it, because I want to give props to, like, a very old fossil. Like, plus it's cute.
Beluga whale is the cutest one, and cute wins with this guy.
Baby beluga in the deep blue sea swims so wild, and he swims so free.
So free that it goes on to the next round.
Beluga whale on to the next round. Now we have as MS is Mississippi, one of their two whales, the Zigoriza whale versus one of my favorites, the West Virginia Jefferson's ground sloth.
All right, let's look at this fucking sloth.
I got to talk about the sloth a little bit. I pulled up some information on him.
Please.
So early examples of these fossils were found in West Virginia, and they were sent to Thomas Jefferson in the late 1700s. And he did a whole little examination and, like, wrote a expose about them, or a memoir, he called it. And he compared them to another species of giant sloth that was found in South America too. And he's like, oh well, let's call it he came up with the scientific name for it, which basically means big claw, because he got some of its claws. But when he was president, he told Lewis and Clark to keep an eye out for these guys.
Oh my god.
Because he believed they would support his theories about them. And because contrary to the emerging consensus at the time that extinction was a huge part of natural history, Thomas Jefferson did not believe in extinction.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine being Lewis and Clark and, like, whether or not they, like, knew or thought about, like, you know, extinction, going out there going, there might be big sloths.
That's pretty cool to think.
I want to give it to the sloth.
Me too. Give it to the fucking sloth. We already have one whale in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're going to give it to Jefferson's ground sloth. Moving
Jefferson.
forward.
Jefferson's ground sloth does sound like an old disease, like an old STD. Oh, you know, his brain's got all funny. Oh, he's got the Jefferson's ground sloth. His dick fell off.
All right. Up next, we have the Wyoming Nightia versus the... these are two very interesting ones, but I already think I know which one's going to win. Versus the Mississippi Basilosaurus whale. And there's another... So Basilosaurus is also Alabama's... I'll talk about the Nightia first. The Nightia is a freshwater fish guy. It is the most common fish fossil found in the world.
Wow. Okay.
Now, here's something really cool. I was going to talk about this on either Alabama or Mississippi, whichever came first. The Basilosaurus whale. This species, B. setoides, was found in Alabama, but a second species, B. isis, was found in the Valley of the Whales.
These whales have legs!
So these are a very close relative to the whales with legs.
Oh my god. Oh, Darrin, you've made it hard. I love it. I love it. I love these. My vote's for the whales with legs. Sorry, common fish.
Yeah, the whales with legs.
Friends with whales with legs.
Yeah, the good thing you're so, impartial. It's either the common fish or the whale with legs.
It's either this dirtbag shit-faced fish or the whale with legs. Yeah.
Okay, this next one is actually an interesting pairing because these two are very closely related dinosaurs. Yes, we've got the Saurophaganax or Phagonix, not sure, versus the Allosaurus, and these are very closely related dinosaurs. They're both tyrannoids. The Saurophaganax is specifically very closely related. Oh, and these are Oklahoma and Utah, respectively.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like a fucking T-Rex, kind of.
They're tyrannoids. So I don't think they predate the T-Rex by quite a bit, but they're very similarly built. Allosaurus means different lizard, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh, it's a different lizard.
I'll give it to different lizard.
I'll give it to fucking different. Wait, no, Nick.
Yeah, different lizard.
Different lizard.
Not the same old lizard. We gotta go with a different lizard.
I'm not
Utah's.
like other lizards.
Utah's Allosaurus moves forward. All right, so that was the first round. There's still a few more that we haven't talked about yet, but we're through the first round of the brackets.
Hey!
Wow, what a battle!
So now we have Alabama's entry of the whale with legs, the Basilosaurus. Also, another fun fact. They misidentified the Basilosaurus as a reptile, which is why it has a dinosaur name despite being a whale.
I like that, though. It's makes it sound like it's kind of scary.
But it's the Alabama Basilosaurus versus the South Dakota Triceratops.
Oh.
These just sound like high school basketball teams now.
I know, right?
This one's hard because I love the Triceratops. That's like such a sweet little dinosaur, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going with the Triceratops.
And
here.
Basilosaurus is on this list again.
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's give it to the Triceratops.
Sorry, buddy. You should have been first seed.
Giving it to the Triceratops. All right, up next is one we haven't talked about. The Michigan Giant Beaver.
Yes!
Oh, no.
That's the best sports team.
I pulled some information about the giant beaver, which is something that's interesting to know is that a lot of the first peoples of North America, the people who traveled across the land bridge and eventually filled out the entire continent, did encounter a lot of these megafauna. And sort of stories of that live through in, like cave paintings and stories, passed down through the oral tradition. So here's a little bit about that. In 1972, American ethnologist Jane Beck hypothesized that C. ohioensis, nope, that's not right, C. ohioensis, that's it, was the basis of an Algonquin myth where a gargantuan beaver created a dam so high on the St. John River, the lake behind it almost reached the sea. The dam was struck down by the popular heroic figure Glooskap with his axe, creating the River Sing Falls. Glooskap chased the monster upstream, creating several islands in the river while attempting to strike the beaver through the ice. The beaver constructed another dam which created the Great Lakes and fled through these to the land beyond.
That's so cool.
That's a big beaver.
But that's so cool that that these beavers did exist.
Yeah.
Possibly that's a story that comes from some encounter with a giant-ass beaver.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of native peoples being like, man, I'm sick of these beavers damming up these lakes getting so high. Oh, he's probably crazy. These assholes probably made the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
So it's the Minnesota MN. No, that's Minnesota. My mistake. It's not Missouri.
Minnesota giant
Michigan.
beaver.
It is Minnesota.
Yeah, Michigan is
It's
Minnesota's
a Minnesota giant beaver. It's a Minnesota giant beaver.
It's a Minnesota giant beaver versus the Michigan American mastodon, which is like a woolly mammoth, but a little more elephant-shaped.
I'm giving it to the beaver.
It's not even a question for me.
Not even a question. Giving it to the giant
Minnesota
beaver.
giant
All right,
beaver.
now we have the Idaho Hagerman horse versus the Nevada ichthyosaur. The Hagerman horse is basically something kind of like a zebra that used to live in North America. Equus. Well, it's kind of interesting to think about because horses, as we know them, were introduced to North America. They did not exist here naturally. But way back, we did have a species similar to horses here naturally.
That's so cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Too bad it's going to lose to the ichthyosaur.
Yeah, it's already lost to the ichthyosaur for me.
It's already lost to the ichthyosaur. Up next is the Montana/New Jersey duck-billed dinosaur versus the Stegosaurus from Colorado.
Oh. Stegosaurus is a classic dinosaur.
That's a classic dinosaur. Oh, yeah, I agree. It's a classic dinosaur. But is it a classic dinosaur from the great state of Montana?
And New Jersey?
And I guess New Jersey?
Nick, I want to ask you, what are 3 things you love about Montana?
3 things I love about Montana. Number 1, the big open skies. Number 2, I want to say Missoula.
I've been there.
Number 3, I love that state.
Nope.
I like how the state abbreviation for Montana is MT, like mountains.
That's fun, but you're not Nick.
That's not a reason I like it. That's not
true.
a reason I like it. I would
All
never
right.
say that.
Well, there's 3 of you making these decisions, and I know Nick is voting for NJMT.
How dare you? I haven't made my decision. I'm voting for the duck-billed dinosaur from the great state of Montana. Thank you
And New
very
Jersey.
much. Whatever.
And Sophie, how do you vote? Stego or Duckbill?
I'll vote Duckbill.
Whoa! Katelyn, is it unanimous? Or
I
are
was
you
going to vote Stegosaurus, actually. Sorry.
All right, well, that is 2 out of 3.
Fuck.
No, that's too bad.
Fuck.
Get fucked, Stegosaurus. The state of Montana moves
We love you,
on.
Stego, but you lose this round. Up
I
next...
never said I loved it.
I was trying to be nice, but I should have followed my instincts.
Too late now.
Up next is the California saber-toothed cat versus the Vermont beluga whale.
Shit! This is so hard because I love cats and whales.
Yeah, this podcast should also be called the Bones of Cats and Whales podcast because
You've talked pretty extensively about both.
yeah. So this is a difficult matchup for us. I gotta go with my actual factual home state of the saber-tooth fucking motherfucking tiger. Cat.
Saber-toothed motherfucking tiger.
Here's the thing. California is also my home state. And also, one day I hope that a saber-toothed cat will replace the bear on the state flag.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be rad as hell.
I'm sure that design exists, but that's my vote.
Caitlin?
I'll give a pity vote to Baby Beluga. But it doesn't
But it
matter.
don't
But we're gonna-
matter.
The winner goes to saber-toothed cat. Now we have the West Virginia Jefferson's ground sloth versus the Kansas pteranodon, the only flying lizard on this list.
I mean, that's an unusual lizard.
Whoa, this picture is nuts!
Let me see.
Kansas pteranodon.
And Kansas has 2 entries in here.
Oh, that's your classic pteranodon right there.
It's a classic.
It's so spindly.
It's got a crazy head.
The face of a pteranodon is as close as you can get to God.
I think so.
But it's against Jefferson's ground sloth.
So it's against a 18th century crotch disease.
I don't know. I gotta give it. I'm still rooting for Jefferson's ground sloth.
Yeah, I am too.
Jefferson's ground sloth. Sorry, Nick's lizard plane corner. No gas this time around.
Damn it!
Damn it.
Up next is Kansas's other entry, the Tylosaurus versus the Mississippi Basilosaurus whale.
Oh.
Do I have any notes on the Tylosaurus? I don't think so.
Tylosaurus. His name was Tyler?
That's what I kept thinking.
The Tylosaurus.
I have no notes on the Tylosaurus.
He looks cool.
I want to move forward my whale friend.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's true, and that's fine. And we did eliminate the whale earlier, so let's go with the whale
Sorry, Tyler. Never stood a chance.
And now we have the different lizard. It's Utah's Allosaurus versus Alaska's woolly mammoth. And I will say that this is the only mammoth left in the competition.
I'm just saying, an Allosaurus is basically a T-Rex. The Allosaurus is the only T-Rex left in the competition.
Yeah, no states have the T-Rex as their state lizard. Or state fossil, I mean.
Ridiculous, omission, honestly.
I mean, I have to stand by my man, woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Stand by
Sophie's
your
choice of state,
mammoth.
Alaska. Katelyn, any thoughts?
I want the different lizard.
Different lizard. Nick, what were you thinking?
I'm going to go with the same... No, I'm going to go with a different lizard.
The different lizard! Mammoths are out of the competition, and I'm sorry, Sophie, your state has been eliminated.
I'm sorry, you should have been more rabidly botanical about your state.
More like rabidly tyrannical.
This is my podcast. I can still get tyrannical.
We are down to 8 fossils, people. 8 states.
Oh my god.
South Dakota, Triceratops.
First.
Minnesota, giant beaver.
It's always the giant beaver for me.
It's always the giant beaver.
Giant beaver, no discussion needed.
Goodbye, sweet Triceratops.
Bye-bye, sweet Triceratops. We love you very much.
Oh my god.
Nevada,
Shit.
ichthyosaur versus the New Jersey-Montana duck-billed dinosaur.
Shit.
I swear to God.
These are the two that Nick has been fighting for the hardest, I feel like.
I swear to God, if a dumb-looking fish reptile beats the great state that I love and know so much about, Montana, I will be livid.
Now, Katelyn and Sophie, how do you feel about this?
I love ichthyosaur. I want one. I need one. And I vote for them.
Okay, Sophie, are you going to break the tie?
Brutus.
I seem to recall that there was a time in which an opportunity for a woolly mammoth to be eliminated happened quite recently, and I'm just going to have to say that the North remembers. Move that ichthyosaur forward!
Traitors! Traitors and thieves!
Wow.
The state of Montana will never forget. The North remembers. Fuck you. There's nothing more North than Montana.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there
Alaska.
is! We are
Alaska.
more Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like
Alaska,
that.
which represented the woolly mammoth.
Yeah. All right.
Fake news.
Oh my god.
California, saber-toothed cat versus Jefferson's ground sloth
Oh my god.
of West
Whoa.
Virginia.
This is like... I mean...
It's getting tough. It's getting tough.
Oh my god.
I want the sloth.
I want the cat.
Down to Sophie again to break the tie.
Why do you do this to me? I'm sorry. I gotta give it to Jefferson's ground sloth.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
I know, I've done so much betraying today. It's so unlike me.
I'm losing my mind.
All right. The Basilosaurus of Mississippi, the whale with legs' cousin, versus Utah's different lizard, the Allosaurus.
Ooh. I'll give it to the whale.
I gotta go T-Rex all the way, baby.
Mm.
You bastards. You absolutely...
Sophie,
You got it.
You got to speak up at first.
You gotta get in sooner.
I'm taking consideration. I'm taking this seriously.
Have you heard me make any consideration at all in this game?
I'm sorry, I have to have more of a white man's confidence. Let's see. You know what? Fuck it. I gotta give it to the different lizard.
Wow.
Okay.
Never the same. It's a different lizard. Yeah.
All right. We are in the quarterfinals. Minnesota, giant beaver versus the Nevada ichthyosaur. 2 aquatic creatures. Both big, both cute, probably.
I'm getting out here for the beaver.
All right.
Big beaver.
I'll take the beaver all the way home.
Jesus, ichthyosaur. I feel like I may have... all of my animals are gone.
I gotta give it to the giant beaver and Jefferson's ground sloth versus the Allosaurus.
This is the semifinals, shit.
Oh, the semifinals, right. The last one was the quarterfinals. I don't do brackets very often.
What month is it? I mean, we gotta... Hey, everybody. It's January. It's January Madness. Every year we gotta do another fossil.
Another fossil bracket.
Oh, boy.
Jefferson's ground sloth.
Sloth.
A quick thing before it happens. A lizard, the big different lizard, could very well eat the ground sloth, and I think that we should take that into account because of big teeth and scary.
Sloth.
Well,
I swear to God.
Jesus Christ, why you do this to me?
I swear
Sophie,
to
you
God.
already voted.
Oh yeah, Jefferson's ground sloth. Yeah, I already voted.
Jefferson's ground sloth. But that's... Caitlin, you said Allosaurus, right?
No, I said ground sloth.
Well, ground sloth. All right, that's 2 for ground sloth. I'm sorry, Nick, but...
Damn, Chief.
The bone women hold strong to their beliefs.
Strongest bone.
So this is pretty unprecedented. We have eliminated every reptile from the list, and we are left with 2 megafauna, 2 giant mammals that used to roam the great country that we live in.
Wow, so patriotic,
Sure.
Darrin.
The giant beaver. God bless. You know what? I will say, American fossils don't get enough
Yeah, because they're pretty
appreciation.
lame in comparison to the other countries. Not really. I'm just kidding.
America has a lot of good fossils.
Focus up on these.
This
bad
is the
boys.
final.
Okay.
This is the winner. Will be determined right now. Is it?
Now, I like what Nick said earlier.
Yeah.
Can we think
when I sing
about...
the song?
I did like when you sang the song.
Thank you.
Let's think about who would win in a fight.
The giant beaver versus the ground sloth. I want to talk a little bit more about the ground sloth. Just, I feel like since these are our last 2, maybe I should give a little bit more context for each.
Mm-hmm.
So, Megalonyx, that is the name Thomas Jefferson came up with, because it means giant claw. I just want to read a quote from Thomas Jefferson's seminal piece, A Memoir on the Discovery of Certain Bones of a Quadruped of the Clawed Kind in the Western Parts of Virginia. He wrote, "Let us only say then, what we may safely say, that he was more than 3 times as large as a lion." And in the postscript, he mentions the remains of Megatherium discovered in Paraguay are similar, which is another giant ground sloth. So he thinks this thing is as big as 3 lions.
How accurate is that?
They're pretty big. If you go to the page for that, basically, this thing's bigger than a bear. And, like, the giant beaver was described as the size of a bear.
Wow. It's sometimes it is still baffling, like when you think about megafauna. Mega is the active word. Like, these were huge animals.
It's for some mega boys.
Nick, what are you thinking?
Oh, now we care about what I think. Okay, that's cool.
I didn't mean to come out so hard against your chosen fossils.
I feel, after attacking everyone, now I feel attacked. I'm going to go ahead and think, so like, okay, giant beaver, cool, big teeth, funny name, giant sloth, big and sleepy, bigger than a bear, 3 lions, hard to tell. God, they're so similar. There's such a theme here. I gotta go with that beaver.
I'm gonna go for the sloth.
I'm gonna give it to the beaver.
God damn it!
Beaver.
Here's my reasoning, because I really, really loved that story from, like, indigenous, like, oral history story about the guy who fought the giant beaver.
Yeah.
And I want to pick that over Jefferson, who was kind of a racist weirdo.
Yeah.
But his sloth and his venereal disease will live on.
That's super fair. And that means that, according to the Anything Bones podcast, the Minnesota giant beaver is the greatest state fossil.
Woo!
All right,
Unequivocal, scientific. We use the scientific method. We talked about a lot of them. Mm-hmm. You'll expect some sort of trophy in the mail in the next 6 to 10 years, Minnesota.
I think I win because my state got the furthest. It was the fucking sloth.
That's true.
I think we all lost because the best state lost.
Montana, according to Nick.
I mean, I feel bad for the mammoths because I feel like they got drowned out because there were so many of them. Like,
I think Nebraska really did a disservice there by picking 3. You know, it kind of muddied the water a little bit. If Nebraska had just picked 1 mammoth, the imperial mammoth, say, which no other state picked, then that would have been another mammoth in the running.
Maybe mammoths just need to do better.
We can still clone those guys, maybe.
That feels pointed.
Well, thank you so much for playing along on this fun little experiment. This was my decision to do instead of a story, was to just go through every single state, because I think it's funny that states have official things, like fossils.
Yeah, I loved this.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually.
That's okay.
Of course they do. No, it's not okay. Everyone needs to know this.
I mean, there's like state birds and state flowers, but I don't think you think of state fossils right off the bat. But this was so interesting because I feel like it gave a really great overview of the kind of fossils that we have in North America, because I couldn't say that I was too familiar.
And now you know about every single one of them.
Hell yeah! I know my friend of a friend of whales of legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I still know to this very day the Montana fossil, which was, which one was it? That was the duck-billed platypus, and I love it so much.
Well, on the duck... It's not called the duck-billed platypus.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
the duck-billed dinosaur, wasn't it?
Duck-billed dinosaur, Maiasaura biblosorum.
Jesus, God!
It's got P in the Latin name. Need I say more? Y'all made a mistake.
Needless to say. Darrin, that was fantastic. So creative and really fun. I know that it got heated over here in the Bone Zone, as it often does when we do bracket-style competition.
Yeah, we're pretty competitive people.
I care so much.
And also, I don't know if anyone picked up on this, but the name of that bracket was State Fossils Bone Off.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's amazing. Well, you know what? This was a beautiful first annual Bone Off, and hopefully there will be more to come. But I think that concludes part 1 of this double secret under the floor, down the secret passageway, enter the code, down the fireman's ladder Bone-anza.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do
Bing
a
bong.
little bon voyage, right?
So for pictures of the 2 topics that we discussed, a link to the bracket, and, therein pictures of dinosaurs and other amazing fossil things, and pictures of the bones of the supposed 11,000 virgins will be up on the Instagram, and links in the show notes.
So all that's left is a big, fat Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Come back for part 2.
Thanks for listening to Anything Bones. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Anything Bones Podcast, or email us at anythingbonespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Nick Kruger for our spooky music and Stephen Vetteroff
At Chubby Scrubby on Twitter.
for our jazzy vocals, and thank you to Camilla Franklin
At Camilla Strader on Instagram.
for our beautiful bony artwork. Please rate, review, and subscribe.
In olden days, a glimpse of fame was only for more betrayed. Thanks for listening to Anything Bones.